Fellow parents, hey, I love that you are here. I'm here with this man that I love, Jordan. I'm here with you. I can't wait to have an experience about parenting and goodness today. But today, everyone, we have an interesting title. So, Jordan, I'd love to talk about positive things. I know you do too. Positive, it's good. And that's normally what we do on this podcast. But today, we're going to flip this script and we're going to talk about mistakes.
Yeah,
the
dude.
dumb stuff that we
Yeah.
do as parents, the stuff we shouldn't be doing. And I think I don't know if it's good to do this. I think it's good. What do you think about having an episode where we're just,
Oh, 100% it's good, dude. How are we
Okay, it
supposed to
is-
learn if we don't look back into history, right?
okay, yeah.
Like, how are we supposed to grow if we can't look back and learn from our mistakes? So the hardest part about it is actually talking about it, I think. Like being like, oh, yeah, I've done that. Or, yeah, I messed up here. And actually admitting to it. Because a lot of us want to brush it off. Be like, oh, no, that wasn't my fault. And, well, if they didn't do this, and I wouldn't have done that. So
Well
we need
said.
to, like, own up.
Yeah, I think like humans can learn a lot of different ways. We can learn from experience
Yeah,
or we can learn from wisdom.
true.
Learning from experience normally sucks and it's extremely painful.
Well, a lot of people will try and teach us wisdom, but then we don't want to hear that. I don't want
Right.
to hear my parents say, well, you shouldn't do this. I'm like, no, I'm going to figure it
know.
out for myself. And then
Right.
I walk the walk, and then I have to reap the benefits or
Yeah.
the counter to that.
This is why I'm so glad we're doing this. And I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're listening to this as a parent because you want to learn from wisdom. The wisdom of older parents, other parents, get an outside view on your parenting. And so we've got 5 biggest mistakes that parents make. And Jordan, these are big. And I am excited to share them.
How'd you find these 5?
Okay.
How did you come up with these 5?
Okay, so first of all, these 5
And are these really the biggest?
well, I mean, in my opinion, they are, but the 5 that I came up to that you're about to hear, everyone, first of all, these are really rooted in research. So what that means, we've looked at some of the big dogs in child developmental research from Erickson to Siegel, Ainsworth, Newfield. We looked into attachment theory, parenting psychology. You're going to hear a little bit about the Gottman Institute and Dr. Laura Markham, who's one of my favorite authors and mentors. We're going to be looking at behavioral science and Skinner, and then through just my own lens of being in this field for 20 years, and who's someone I'm excited to say is about to be an author, and my book is going to be published soon, and so that's
Stoked for
exciting
that,
too.
dude. That is so cool.
Yeah.
I think we need to add a theory here. We just need to have like all these like good, like
Okay.
professional doctors doing research, and then we just need to have a sub theory that's called like grandma's theory, and see how like grandma's theory works out compared
Yeah.
to like what the doctors do.
That's
I think that'd
really
be funny.
let's come back to grandma's theory a couple times because I know what you're talking about. It's like grandma's theory or like versus all these new-ish
Right.
people, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so here's a couple things too, though, that like, I've been working with parents for over 20 years now. And here's some things that I've heard. And
Yeah.
some of these things that they've told me, even today and yesterday, parents have said these things to me. This is why we did today's episode. I've heard parents say things like, I wish I had stayed calm and just not reacted.
Oh well, yeah, we've all been there. But how? That's so hard, dude. That's so hard. We're human beings. We're emotional. We react.
We just did a whole podcast episode about that. I think that was
I know.
last week.
Yeah,
How to
but
stop
it's-
your reactionary patterns. I know it's
If
tough.
this is your first time listening, this is a common topic we talk about. But it is hard to
It's
not
hard.
react.
I was too controlling, and now they don't know how to think for themselves. Here's another one.
That's pretty.
You know what? We avoided hard conversations, and now my teen won't talk to me. Or this one. I focus too much on punishments and not on their emotions. And now here we are.
Okay.
Or a mom just said this to me, paraphrase about 30 minutes ago. She said something like, you know what? I'm just a worrier. I've made so many parenting decisions out of fear and worry.
Oh wow,
and
she actually said that to you. Wow, that's cool. That she realized that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like no one here is perfect. We've all made mistakes. Me too, me included. And so we've got 5 mistakes. But Jordan, when you think about these mistakes, like what comes up for you?
I mean, that I've done all of them. To be honest with you. Sure, I've parented in fear, but if I were to look at both of us, I'm more of the lackadaisical, like, well, if he falls, he'll learn to not climb as high. Or, well, if they go in the ocean and they step on a jellyfish, then they'll get stung, and now they know. And then my wife's like, oh my gosh, no, we can't, and she's more of the protective, and that's why there's a good balance. But I've done all of it, and I'm trying to learn and get better. When we take a look at these 5 different categories as mistakes that you highlighted, I think a lot of us could agree to that, right? We've all done that. And there are some predictive long-term issues, right, that it could create, whether it's disconnection, you didn't talk to your kid enough, now they won't talk to you. Maybe you punished too hard and now they're rebelling. Rebellion could be one. Are we creating anxiety or low self-esteem in our kids? Do we have it ourselves? Is it rubbing off onto them? Emotional repression, right? Or the opposite, or like explosions.
Right.
That can happen a lot, right?
Right.
Lack of accountability, resilience. The hard part is, like, we look at these, and I'm going to be honest, I don't think anybody can perfect them. I mean, Sean just told us in the last podcast of, like, he's the dude. I mean, he's the dad's dad. And he messed up at his camping trip, right? Going too far, too hard, right?
I did.
So it's it's
I got
hard.
weird. Yep.
I got weird. I used a bad word in front of kids, and I went too. So I think it's good that we do this, because it's just like anything. It's like building a muscle.
Yeah.
Like,
Well
we have to
said.
constantly go to the gym.
That's so good. Yeah. That really kind of takes the shame out of it too. The mom guilt,
Right.
the dad guilt. Take the shame out of it. Let's just go. We're all going to the gym right now, everybody. I love that.
Right.
That was really a nice little transition. So before we get to the one last thing before we do the top 5 is just know, like, these things happen to all of us. These mistakes happen in stress or in hard situations. And we're here to just, like, go to the gym and to replace these mistakes with positive choices and positive tools. Are you ready for the first mistake?
Yes.
Well,
all right, so we're going to go through these.
We've
5.
actually you've already mentioned it, so we don't have much suspense. The first mistake that parents make, and it's not a one-time mistake, is reacting instead of responding. I'm going to rephrase it this way, is building a home culture of reactions and not a home culture of responding. So let me explain. So many of us, I was born in 1978. I just turned 47. So
Happy
whether you're born in the
birthday,
70s,
dude!
80s, or 90s, many of us, not all of us, we were not taught emotional regulation by our parents. Some of us you were. Your parent actually helped you to calm down, and they modeled it for you. They taught you how to not yell, how to stand up for yourself. But first of all, there were already parenting books out there on this topic. It just
But
wasn't
even emotional
popular.
regulation takes time for us, right? I mean, I can't teach it to a 6-year-old.
Right.
It comes with growth.
Yes, well said. Furthermore, we know a lot more about trauma in 2025 and 26 than we do now. So we know how so many of us experience trauma, and that now trauma has led us to be more reactionary. But the biggest mistake is that you have become a reactionary parent, and now you're raising reactionary children and kind of passing that pattern down. A research from 2023 from the developmental psychology found that children exposed to harsh verbal discipline, so we're talking yelling, shaming, scolding, these kids with these reactionary parents, they were more likely to show increased anxiety, depression, and even defiance over time. Dan Siegel, very famous child author, wrote The Whole Brain Child. He writes that we've talked about this stat before. Like, why does yelling work? Why do people keep yelling? Because it works. Well, why does it work from a child's brain point of view? Is that when parents are like flipping their lid, the kids' brains shut down, and their logical prefrontal cortex goes into flight or flight. You get it? You know what I'm trying to say? This is why there's a huge movement of gentle parenting, because people learned about, hey, like, we don't want to affect our kids' brains. We don't want to hurt their teenage years or beyond. And so,
but
biggest mistake is just living in that reactionary parenting style. What do you think?
Right. And the gentle parenting is doing the thing that we're afraid of also, right? It's not like that's the answer, right? That's what we're learning right now. It's like you could think, okay, so in order to make it better, I have to go the exact opposite. And if you guys are an avid listener to this podcast, you know that that's not the case at all.
You might have just foreshadowed another mistake that might be coming up in our top 5, right? Is what you just foreshadowed it. Yes.
Right. In your practice, has there ever been a reaction to an event, let's say it's a parent towards a child, that's so big, your reaction was so big and you shouldn't have made it that big, that it ended up causing disruption to your relationship with your kid for a long term?
Yes. Many times, yes. Are you talking about my personal life, or are you talking about what I've seen in my work?
What you've seen in your work. What you've seen in your
So,
work.
yeah, here's a couple, here's a kind of, I love that question. Here's a multifaceted response, okay? First, you would agree that there's a lot of parents now that are like, hey, I was raised by a reactionary parent and I'm doing something to my kids. Sean, I want to join your membership. I want to help stop that. You agree that's common, right?
Yes, correct, yep.
Okay, number 2 response is sometimes it's actually really good to have a really deep, dramatic response.
Okay.
It's really good. It's good for you.
Okay.
It's good for the kids. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's different than what we're saying. But I see why, especially if you have a parent that is non-reactionary and they have a reaction, it's like, oh man, I actually upset my mom. She never gets upset. I must be, yeah, I totally get that.
It's part of the human experience to freak out sometimes and show your humanity, show your emotion. We've got a bunch of people listening to this that are just afraid of showing emotion. They're people pleasers. And they just don't let their kids or anyone see, I'm really upset right now. So we can't demonize reactions too much. Right. We have to celebrate that.
I think that's a good point. Keep going.
Number 3 is, yes, we all are going to react and cause pain sometimes. I know I have. I remember I got shocked once when I discovered something with my teenager, and I was just in a dark place for 4 days. It was just I was very upset.
Yeah.
And
hurt, probably.
Hurt, shocked.
Sad, yeah.
Upset. So then what I had to do is I had to spend extra time just helping that teenager process what it means and what it doesn't mean, and also apologize for how my reaction hurt that child.
But it sounds like your reaction, you said it took 4 days. It almost sounds like your reaction was you froze for a little bit to think about how to handle it. Or are you saying you had a big reaction that just caused drama for 4 days?
It was a mixture of me being very quiet, but also when I did talk, unloving, weird stuff came out of my mouth, hurtful stuff.
All been there. I've done that. Yes, because it's you can't. I'm not over this. I can't.
Right.
Yeah, dude, I get it.
But see, in that messiness, I feel like I'm almost glamorizing that messiness. Wouldn't that be better than just being really quiet and pretending I was fine for 4 days? Right?
Yeah.
And wouldn't that?
If I made you upset and you were upset for 4 days, I'd be worried. Oh my gosh,
Right.
I don't want you to pretend hey, Jordan, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. I'll be oh, you're over this already? Okay, let's move on,
All right, well then, and what some of us do is we stonewall for 4 days or 2 weeks. We don't talk to anyone. And that's reactionary too. And we're or we just...
I'm processing.
Yeah, or they just get crazy and they get aggressive and harsh for 4 to 14 days. Either ways, we're all in this together. It's just quite a dance. This is, again, why the gentle parenting movement has become so popular, because there's so many parents that are look, this is how I was raised, and I do not want to do this to my kid. Now, has that created problems? It sure has, and we'll talk about that more in a second. Let's go on to number 2.
Okay.
Tell us,
number 2.
What do you think? Take this one, Jordan. Number 2 biggest mistake that parents make.
Okay, if we are reacting instead of responding, I've done that a million times. But what if we are controlling instead of teaching? Right? So this is an idea that I want everything to be up to my standards. And if anything doesn't happen, I'm gonna, you're grounded, or you're getting a spanking, or you're not allowed to use tech ever again. Like, I'm just trying to control to keep the ship going the way I want it to go. But I mean, the reality is this is not working, right? Whether it's bribes, threats, punishments, all right, they're short term. But the question we have to ask ourselves, like, is my kid or our youth really learning in this situation? Or are they just trying to now beat around the bush? Dude, I remember growing up with with kids who had some really strict parents, right? And this is the time when, like, you'd get a whooping all the time, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But we would never stop what we're doing as kids. We would just get trickier on making sure our parents didn't find out.
Definitely,
right?
definitely.
You know, it's like, it's not like I'm like, well, and I'm sure there were some kids like, oh, I can't do that because if my parents find out, I'm gonna get a whooping. We just were like, no, guys, we're just gonna form a pact here. We're not gonna tell anybody, So I wasn't changing my behavior as the child. So now I have to ask myself as a parent, is this working if I'm doing these things? So what we want to do is we want to teach instead of control, right? We want to teach the kids why it's right or why it's wrong. Like Sean just said in his example with his daughter, it took him 4 days to have this reaction, but then he had to figure out and teach as to why it was bad or what the reasoning is for whatever it was. And this is going to, help build a bond with us and ultimately give them wisdom so that they can reflect on that. So there are some stats here. Dr. Edward Deci research on the self-determination theory. It shows that children thrive actually when they feel autonomy, competence, relatedness, and not control, right? So kids who are raised with authoritative parenting, all right, high warmth, high expectations, constantly show better academics, right? So I'm showing you that high level of love, but I'm also showing that, to be in this family, this is what we do, right? I have high standards for you because I want you to be awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. I saw this, I posted this funny video on my Instagram or all my socials. I don't know if you saw it. It shows this, this dad giving this young child, like age 3, a big gallon of milk. And the child is
like
pouring...
you used to do to us back in campus life. We'd have to drink the gallon milk drink challenge. You remember that, dude?
Dude, we did some funny youth group games back in the 2000s.
Okay,
so
right.
It has to do with this topic.
Okay.
And the dad is trying to teach his boy how to pour milk onto a cereal.
Oh, this is great because it always gets all over the place, dude. This is great, yeah.
and so the 3-year-old boy is pouring the milk, and it goes everywhere. And then the caption on the top, it says something like, here, I should look it up right now. It's something like, it says "me as a child," and the dad's voice is really sweet. It's like, "Oh, good job, Edgar. Good job." But the title says "me as a child," and then it shows the next scene. It shows the content creator, this comedian who's like a 30-year-old man, and he's pouring milk, and he spills the littlest little drop.
Right.
And all of a sudden, it shows him dressed up as his mom, coming in and kicks him in the face. Kicks him in the face because he spilled one drop.
One drop.
Versus, see, I don't know if I explained a video well.
You explained it.
I did.
You explained it well. Yeah.
So it's like this.
That's this.
You're controlling versus teaching. The controlling would be you
let
cannot.
Me do it. You can't. I'll do it. I'll just do it for you. Yeah.
Because you don't want any milk, and who wants freaking milk?
Right.
But teaching would be like, look, like let me give you a few examples. Let me ask me if you like these examples, because I was making notes when I was listening to you. Because we have to have our kids make good choices. They have to brush their teeth. They can't pour milk all around the ground. They have to, they have to clean up after themselves.
Yeah, but they got to try it. Yeah.
They have to take their vitamins. They have to eat their foods.
Yeah.
They have to take a shower. They have to pick up the wet towel on the ground. So it's like, okay, what do you mean? Like, I'm controlling my kid because they're doing all this stuff, and I have to control them, right? Well, no. Controlling means you are getting like really triggered in that moment. And in the heat of the moment, you're controlling your child. And what Jordan is saying at this point is that's a mistake.
Yeah.
It causes stress for everybody. It doesn't work. And it sometimes it even causes a codependency in that child because now the child is like
expecting you to do things for them.
And it just causes problem because no one wants to live with a nagger or
Right.
someone who's controlling another human being. It's so weird. And you're giving your own cortisol stress levels skyrocketing over a wet towel on the ground.
Right. So
Teaching.
go ahead.
Can I finish my point? So teaching would be, you pick up the freaking crumbs on the kitchen island. You pick up the wet towel.
All right.
And you wait for the right time.
Right.
And you do the teaching. And then if needed, you do the training and the discipline while you're a cool cat. Isn't that kind of what we're talking about here? That's a big mistake. It's just you're so anxious, you're so upset, you're so stressed, you're so triggered because of the vitamins, the teacher email, the homework. You're just taking control because you're just trying to make your life easier. Is this what we're talking about?
Yeah. I mean, I have it every weekend where I make my little boy, he loves pancakes. Pancakes. Can I have pancakes for breakfast? Sure.
Cute.
And he's like, oh, I'll help you get the things from the fridge. I'm like, okay, great. Can you grab the milk? And I'm like, do I dare have him grab the eggs or should I just grab the eggs, right? And then we get the eggs, and I'm cracking him. He's like, I try. And I'm like, okay. And, it's just, shells going in there everywhere. And I'm like, gosh, it's like, but it's like, it's part of that teaching process where I'm like, no, I need you to learn to crack an egg and let's be gentle and let's do this. I remember as a kid, I would always ask my dad, he was, blue collar worker. He laid floor covering, right? And that was his job. That's how he made a wage, made a living. And I'd be like, Dad, I'll come with you. I'm here on summer break visiting. I'll come with you and I'll help you. And he's like, well, no. If you come, then I have to teach you, and then it makes the job longer, right? And I just wanted to learn how to do it, but it was always like, no, I want to get this job done as fast as possible.
Yeah, right.
You guys stay home. Let me get done, because he just wanted to come home and play with us, which I get.
Yeah, right.
But it was like this moment where I was like, man, I really wish he would have taught me that. He did later in life. But one of the things we need to ask ourselves, like in these little examples we've given, is like, in these moments where we're like, oh, I could just pour the milk, or no, let me just crack the egg, or I don't want to make a mess. Let me just stir the batter.
Well said.
We are trying to raise an adult. We're not trying to raise a puppet, right? They need to learn these things. They need to make a mess.
That's good.
Right? Long-term consequences. There's teenagers out there who don't know how to make decisions on their own, as Sean was talking about, right? They will crumble under pressure. They're going to crumble when they have a paper due in college. I mean, you've heard about all the stats about, what is it, Gen Z now and jobs and can't keep a job right now because they're expecting this, right? And so, like, there is that balance where we have to let things get messy to teach them.
It's
and
hard,
I think
though.
that's fine.
It's hard. How messy are we talking? How about this? What type of mess?
You take the flour, and you just let them dump it all out.
Oh, you're thinking about eggs and flour. I got a juicy question for you about mess. You ready?
Oh, okay. We're talking more real. Okay.
Yes. What type of mess can happen if your 16-year-old goes to the movie with their 16-year-old boyfriend or girlfriend, and there's no one else in the whole theater? They're alone. What type of mess could happen then? Jordan.
Yeah, that could get pretty messy.
That's pretty messy. So
that's true.
So nice talk about letting go. Nice talk. But this is the dance. When is it good to control? Can I tell you something?
I think we would do group settings. All right, family move. We're all going to go. We're all going with you.
Yeah, the Mormons do that. The Mormons actually do courtship. They don't do dating. Last night was a big stepping stone in our family. We let our 16-year-old daughter go to the movies with her 16-year-old boyfriend.
Okay.
And
there
we
was
let
no one else
him.
About tickets to the theater?
We don't know. We don't know. Movie started like 9:00, 9:30.
Okay.
And we let him drive her, which was another big stepping stone. We've never let her do those two things. So last night we let her do those two things because we're trying to live out what you just talked about. A big mistake that parents make is what Jordan said. You're controlling instead of teaching. So we had a nice conversation with her and with him before, and we just, you know what? They're 16. We cannot control everything they do.
Dog, the tech is so good these days. They make these little cameras. You can just clip on them. They won't even know that's being recorded. You could totally spy on them. They wouldn't even know. You could put air tags on them and know where they're going every step of the way.
That's weird. That's number 2.
The reality is you're giving them
number
freedom,
2.
but no, you're not giving them freedom. You are in control.
Like at what age, everybody has to decide, at what age does your kid not have to tell you everywhere they go? Like at what age? Like if they drive to 7-Eleven.
Question.
If they drive to the park.
Depends how mature they are. Depends how mature they are. It depends how much trust I have in them.
Everyone should come up with an age or a time and a vision. At what age do you just not have to control or stalk your child on their phone and know everywhere they go?
I remember a colleague, she would have her 11-year-old daughter ride the city bus by herself in Seattle. And I'm like,
11.
Wow.
Cell phone.
Not only
no
you're
cell
trusting
phone?
of her, I don't remember. This was 2017, probably cell phone. But what you have to not only trust your daughter to make excellent decisions, you got to trust society, which can be kind of the scary point about, parenting in fear.
That's a good point. Hold that thought, parenting in fear.
Okay.
You ready for mistake number 3?
Yes.
All right. Big mistakes that we make as parents, backed through research, is that we avoid conflict. We avoid conflict with our child or our teenager, and we avoid conflict instead of stepping in to the connection and the discipline. This is a big factor, a big mistake. A lot of modern parents are doing it. It's causing a lot of problems. And I just talked to a mother just yesterday who says, you know what? We have been avoiding conflict with this boy for years, and now he just graduated high school. He is on a horrible path. He treats us like crap. He has no respect for us. He's extremely defiant, and we have to own our role in this. We have been caving and avoiding and pleasing.
Give us an example, maybe this couple, of what some of that conflict would have been leading up to this. Did they share any of that?
Lots.
Okay.
So this, I don't want to. How do I share without honoring their privacy? Well, so I'm not.
Well, we don't know who they are. This could be fictional people. You know what I'm saying?
So, he, I think it's a story like this. He, threw his laundry at his mom and says, "Do my laundry." He,
All right.
he cusses at her. He says, "Shut up! I'm not listening to this," and walks out. Drives away. He says, "I'm not going to stop vaping. I don't care what you say.
Okay.
Do whatever. Leave me alone. I'm not going to get a job. Screw you. Leave me alone." And they are having a hard time.
Yeah, no respect.
They've just been avoiding, and it's not a two-way street of love or respect. It breaks down, and so I'm trying not to judge anybody. These parents, we don't know what their childhood was like. Maybe they went through childhood trauma, the parents, and they have a hard time with conflict. I know that a lot of people will say, I hate conflict. So a lot of parents, they fear conflict because it's associated with rejection, or they just hate the yelling. These parents have told me that life is so much easier living with our son when we just don't say anything to him and we totally avoid. So that's a big reason why people avoid, is because it can be easier.
Yeah, and I don't have to talk about an awkward conversation like the birds and the bees, or anything. Like, the problem with those examples is you're I don't know. I have this strong urge that I would react in those situations, but I could see if it's happening over and over and over again, you probably reacted so much that you're just done reacting. So you're just like, no.
Well, no, that is their reaction. Their reaction is avoidance.
Is avoidance, yeah.
And we often demonize yelling or shaming. We actually did in point number 1, how bad they are. Harsh language. But what we should do equally as much of is help people see the pain of avoidance and people pleasing and caving and not setting a firm, strong boundaries with your kids. The Gottman Institute has done research on this and on emotion coaching with children. Kids whose parents avoided emotional expression or avoided conflict or, caved in through this conflict, they're more likely to struggle with emotional regulation in their lives and with having empathy for other people's emotions. Doesn't that kind of make sense?
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure this kid doesn't care, right? Or kids like this, they don't care. And they have no internal feeling. They're living numb, right?
Well said. I think another way of saying it, I like that, is when they look at their parents, they have dehumanized the parents. They have decided the parents' feelings mean nothing to me, and I don't want to see their humanity or see their pain. If you think about it, the only way that a teenager can become really successful at defiance and really, really meanness is that they have to excel at dehumanization of their parents. Otherwise, it'd be too painful to live that way.
Yeah, it's this is kind of I don't know if this is a horrible example or a perfect example, but you'll watch the news, or in my case, the weather, and you report on death and destruction, but yet there's no emotional connection there from the people reporting it. I was talking to a buddy the other day who was in Central Texas during the big floods, right? The floods that wiped out over 100 people, and those that little girls' camp. And I was like, dude, I'm so glad I wasn't there. Like, I was tearing up just on this side of the just reporting about it, because I have connection with my kids. Right. And he was like, it's so sad, but I have created such a wall that I can completely tune it out so that I can do my day to day. Right? We see this with PTSD and people coming back from overseas, and we're doing it here on the homeland with our own families, right? So whether it's professional or for the military, we have to learn to turn it off. But the problem is, what you're saying is, we can't build these walls in our family. We can't turn these emotions off. We have to go through the pain together.
Yes. It can be painful stepping into the conflict. I really like what you said. We don't almost never talk about that term gentle parenting on this show, but I'm going to bring it up again. Gentle parenting is very confusing to most people. They don't really understand it. What the true definition of gentle parenting is it's still very strong parenting. It's just done in a nice, gentle way, right? Kind way. But
is that strong though? Like, I feel like when I hear the term gentle parenting, it's all weak.
That's because
it's not strong at all.
That's because that's what we see every day out there.
Oh,
we see.
So we're just doing it wrong. Everyone's doing it wrong.
Well, it's all just. This is why I never liked the term. I never used the term because I'm not a really gentle person. Gentleness is not my strength as a man.
Yeah.
So, but what we see here is that in my opinion, it sounds like yours too. The far majority of modern parents who have adopted gentle parenting practices are not doing good parenting. They're doing weak parenting. They're doing parenting. Their kids are still acting like buttheads, disrespectful, out of control, no boundaries. And the parents are like, okay, tell me more on how you feel. Okay, I know you're upset. Okay, well, you go take time to, okay, we'll both cool off. And there's no strong parenting. It's just another way of people pleasing, avoiding, and enabling a child's bad behavior.
Yeah. I just feel like we're all doing it so wrong, and there is no respect when I see people trying to do it. And it's like, well, soon they'll come around, but these kids don't have the emotional capacity to understand that right now. It's like they can understand the loud noises that, hey, stop that right now. It's like, let's talk about why you threw that rock at that boy. Like, are you okay? Are you hurting on the inside? Like, I feel like that. Anyway, it kind of drives me nuts.
So, all right, we're down to 4 and 5.
Yeah, this all goes with number 4. So, again, just to kind of recap real quick. Number 1, reacting instead of responding, right? We need to do better at that. Trying to control instead of teach. Respond, teach. And then this one that Sean was talking about, avoiding conflict instead of embracing as connection. Like, this is awkward, but I'm going to use this as a teaching moment. I'm gonna really try to get close to this kid and have a heart talk. And then number 4 is it's the same thing. We're focusing on the behavior or the act instead of the emotional why. It's like, okay, you're acting out. I'm mad at you for acting out. Done. Let's move on. You did this. Now I'm mad at you for doing that. Done. What we're trying to say now is we need to go the extra step and figure out what is going on to create those actions. So in your situation with this family, the kid has no respect, and we need to get down to when did that start? Why is that happening? Why does the kid expect his parents to do all these things? And why is it okay for him or her to say no? But if we jump to fixing this behavior too soon, then we're not going to figure out that emotional cause. And sometimes the behavior itself can be a form of communication. The kid, doesn't know how to tell you what's wrong, so they're showing you by these maybe bad events.
I don't know if you'd agree with what I'm about to say, but I think you will. I am not like supporting gentle parenting, but just listening you talk about the fourth biggest mistake is focusing on the behavior. This is again why so many people like gentle parenting, because gentle parenting introduced them this concept of like, hey, look underneath your kid's behavior. Look at the surface. Don't look under the surface. Look at their emotions. I think that's kind of what you're saying.
Right, but I could also argue that with gentle parenting, you're looking at that, but you're not finding the right answer. You're not.
That's good.
You're not finding the right reason.
You're just focusing on the emotion, and you don't connect it to the behavior.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, they must be upset because, well, they didn't get their chocolate chip cookie yesterday. Their whole class did, so they're acting out right now. Or you know what I mean? Just something that's like, well, no, that's not okay. Like you can't.
Well said. Yes, you hit a great point. So many modern parents. I'm just trying to say the same thing you say. I don't want to cut you off. It's like so many modern parents. They focus on they give explanation and they make excuses for their kids' emotions and their behaviors. When what we're talking about, what good parenting is you have understanding of your kids' emotions and your behaviors, but there's still a line there. It's not allowed. It needs to stop. I need to train you on how to stop this.
So in this situation with gentle parenting, behind every behavior, you realize, oh, there's a feeling there. Let's figure out why they're having that feeling and maybe stop the behavior. But the reality is no, behind that feeling, there's a need. We need to go beyond that and find the need so that we can stop the behavior and stop the feeling, right? Or change it or alter it. Instead of what's wrong with you, maybe you could ask your kid, like, what's going on for you? What's going on in your world? Why are you doing this? Why don't you care what I think?
I think of a little boy that I once knew. He was 12 years old, and it was me. And I was acting out a lot. 12, 13. I was stealing from stores. I was lighting fires. I was throwing rocks at cars. I was getting into fights. I was acting out.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, man. I did some shady
throwing
stuff,
rocks
man.
at cars. Woo.
Yeah, so that's embarrassed about that one. And I wish that my parents had the skills to do number 4. Like, what is going on with you, Sean? What's really happening with you? Instead, they just focused on the behavior. You know what I mean? Because I was going through stuff big time at that time, and they just didn't have the skills or the tools.
So what did you have to do? Figure it out yourself? I mean, you at that 12 didn't understand this concept.
What did I do?
Let me figure out why I'm doing this.
I know exactly what I did. I became a great criminal, and I didn't get caught, so I didn't have to talk to them about anything. They didn't ask.
All right.
So I didn't tell.
Yeah.
I just lived my own life. I avoided them, and I did my own thing, and I just didn't get caught anymore.
What was the crossroads when you realized, oh, I probably shouldn't be going down this path? And you're lucky you came to that crossroad. Some people don't never come to that crossroad.
It was, I moved to San Diego.
Okay.
And then I was surrounded by some really good kids.
Okay.
And
environment.
And my environment changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, my environment changed.
Well, praise God for that.
Yeah, who knows what would have happened
Dude,
if I stayed.
I
was up to no good at 7th grade. I was up to no good. And we actually had our first episode ever with Coach Rick Steen.
Yes.
This was 3 years ago, and he's a legendary baseball coach, and he's got a whole
guy.
in San Ramon, California, San Ramon Valley High School. He said, "Sean, I looked at you and I saw you were on a bad path, and I had to step in." And I was like, "Wow, dude thank you, sir. So kind." And he took me out to Jack in the Box. You want to hear that story about how I acted out, burned a field down, and Mr. Rick Steen took me out to Jack in the Box? Go back to listen to our first episode ever. You ready for
episode.
Number five, biggest mistake that parents make. Just before this call, I was talking to this mother, and she's been making this mistake, and she's come a long way, and she's really not making it anymore, but she's aware of this mistake. Number 5 mistake is you parent out of fear instead of vision and hope. Mm-hmm. Okay, so she told me her reason.
That probably comes from protection, right? As a mother, you want to protect your kids. You don't.
She told me her reason why.
Okay.
She said, I'm really working on this.
All right.
I have my own, therapist. She wanted to meet with me. I met with her and her husband, and her son is about to head off to college. Yay. He's an amazing kid, amazing family. She parented him. Amazing. Everything's amazing. But she was talking about how she excited about this, her son going off, because she's just trying to let go and feel more free.
Yeah, I can imagine that is hard for her. Be like, leaving for college, you're leaving. No, you're staying here. You're not going away. You're not going out. I can imagine that would be tough.
There's probably 100 million reasons why a parent would parent in fear. Can I tell you her reason?
Please.
No, I don't know her story, her full story. I just know a little bit she told me. So, Jordan, she told me that she was, one of her parents was a pediatrician when she was growing up.
Oh.
And the parent would come home and tell stories about their work. And about
that's hard.
Scary stories.
Yeah. I have an uncle who's a firefighter, and those stories can be gnarly.
So I can't speak for her or her parent, but the gist of it that I got was that her parent kind of traumatized her.
Yeah.
By sharing too much.
I know.
And they were always telling her to be careful here, look out for this. And then this fear-based parent who maybe was traumatized by their childhood passed their trauma on to this now mother who's, I think, in her early 50s. And now she's trying to not pass that on to her children.
That's understandable. Dude, that's one of the reasons why my kids will ask me some stuff. And I'll be like, well, we can't tell you the whole story. And they'll be like, why? Why? Just tell me. I'm like, because we can't throw the whole world at you right now. You're 10, 11 years old.
Oh my gosh, that's
you
good.
won't understand.
That's good.
Right? And you'll get scared because the world is a freaking scary place.
So part of her, like, using a kind of a big word, her symptoms, she overparents. She parents in fear. She micromanages. Yeah. She creates all these forms, all these sheets. She's always checking in.
Yeah,
and then this young man is getting a part of our teen coaching program, and his coach asked him, hey, what do you want me to tell your parents? Like, give me some messages to convey to them. And he said, number one thing he said is, I don't want them to worry about me anymore.
Oh, wow, he said that.
Yeah, he said that. Of all the things, though, he could have said, why did he say that? Like, what has he experienced? What has he gone through?
Feel it from them.
He can feel that weight,
he can 100% feel it.
Right. So parenting in fear means, like, so many different things to every parent. It means, like, for someone that struggles with people pleasing or avoidance, like, I'm afraid that if I set boundaries, then my kid's going to hate me. I'm afraid if I say no, then they're going to get worse. I'm afraid if I say no, then they're going to run away. They're going to kill themselves, or they're going to, hurt themselves the way my brother hurt themselves when I was 15, or they're going to get out in a car in a rage and they're going to get into an accident, or they're going to be around bad friends, or they're going to become a loser, or they're going to not go to college. They're not going to get a job by 19. And I'm just afraid. And so fear-based parenting is no fun for anyone. So it's a big mistake. Research out of the American Psychological Association links fear-based parenting to higher rates of anxiety and perfectionism in children. We are often hearing a lot of stats about children's rates of anxiety and depression, which is all true, but we need to focus more on the parents. What are you doing to impact and play a role in your kids' anxiety, in their depression? What type of screens have you purchased which has led and contributed to your kids' problems? So instead of blaming kids or Gen Z for being X, Y, and Z, we need to look at ourselves. Like, what the crap have I done? Am I parenting in fear, in selfishness, in ego, in rage? And, like, how do I become a more healed, healthy parent so I can raise healed, healthy kids? That's what we should be thinking about.
100%. I mean, I am still impacted in my parenting today from what I saw as like a 5-year-old boy. Like I remember seeing my parents struggle. My mom was single, they ended up getting divorced. They were single. She was struggling just to, get us food, and then she started, getting a real job and making some money. But then all through like my high school and college years, I was so mindful of like, oh, I can't drive too far because I only have so much money to put in the gas, or I can't do this because it costs too much. My mom would be like, you need to stop worrying about my finances, our finances. You are a kid. You go have fun. And I was like, no, I don't want to buy this toy because, I don't want you to go back and I don't want you to hurt like I saw. And now I'm a parent and I'm like, to my wife, like, no, well, we can't do this. That's too expensive. Like what, they can have fun doing other things. Like I don't want them to, we don't need to have to do something every weekend. We don't have to go to this theme park. We can just go to the park, and now I'm totally still influenced by what I saw as a kid. And my wife's the opposite. So she's trying to pull that out of me. But I can tell it impacts my parenting. How does it not? The stuff we see as a kid obviously impacts us.
What a brilliant story. A park versus amusement park. Everyone listening to that story by Jordan, that's like my goal for you, that you'll be able to tell a story like that. Tell a story like that. A simple story. Like, I remember this here, and I can see that I brought that luggage into my parenting, and I want to be mindful about it.
Yes.
And that's like a beautiful, good thing. I want to be mindful about this. I don't want to be weird. I don't want to be reactive. I know it's, Yeah. And isn't that a good goal right there? Just like like figure it out and get a spouse that loves you and is going to have some compassion and coolness around.
And you're not going to fix it overnight, guys. I mean, this is something that you're going to battle maybe for years. But as long as you're working on it every day, we're going to the gym, bros. Like, we're getting our muscle build on right now, dudes. Like, shirts are coming off and, like, sweat's dripping down. But I know I'm working at it.
Oh, my gosh. We're talking about that was hilarious. The mistakes parents made, and you're bringing it back to the gym life. All right. Let's do a little recap. Everybody. Here it comes. Here are the 5 biggest mistakes that parents make. Be aware of these. Number 1, you are creating a home culture of reacting and not responding. You're so triggered. You are so weird. And now it's being passed down to your children. Number 2, huge mistake. You are trying to control versus teach. You're having a hard time with the chaos, with the disrespect, and your go-to is trying to control them like little robots. That's not going to work. It's going to cause problems. You are their teacher, so teach well. They're not little beings to have a joystick. They are your students, so teach them with love and compassion and strength and discipline. Mistake number 3, don't do this one. Avoiding conflict versus stepping into it with strength and integrity. Conflict's tough.
Very tough.
I know you hate it.
And awkward.
I know it's hard, but that's what good parents do. They step in to conflict with a level head. Parents are teachers, and every home's a school. So teach your kids how to handle conflict well and show them what a healthy adult looks like. Mistake number 4, you focus on their behavior, not what's under the surface. We've learned a lot about this in the last 10 years. Look at our kids' hearts. Have these heart talks with them. Listen to them. Share your heart with them. Help them understand their emotions, because you're the only one in the world that's going to teach them and be their emotion coach. And number 5, biggest mistake is that you are parenting not out of love, not out of hope, not out of vision, but you're parenting in fear. Do not let your luggage, your prequel, all the stuff that you went to lead you to become a scared parent where you just want to control or protect or overprotect or overparent your kid because it's your own unhealed baggage. Don't do these mistakes.
So good. We got to work on it. We can do it.
I'm working on my own stuff.
I'm working on, all of us are.
Thanks for letting Jordan and I be a part of your life. We are your cheerleaders, your hope deliverers. Let's be these loving leaders that I know we can all be. We'll see you next time.